in Greeley's paper, and then I looked at Lincoln's personal schedule, what he would do. And so these guys would write about a revolution in Hungary or some oppression in Hungary, and then 3 weeks later, Lincoln would organize a Hungarian support committee in Springfield, Illinois. I mean, there's simply no question that Abraham Lincoln read Marx and Engels. Now, does that make Abraham Lincoln a communist? Does it make him a socialist? No, it doesn't. Don't lie to yourself. But it makes someone who sampled the palette of ideas. And how much did he sample the palette of ideas? I don't know. I would say enough to, first off, make Marx and Engels' editor, Charles Dana, his assistant in the White House, to appoint many of the radical revolutionaries of the 1848 revolution as generals and commanders in the Union Army, to adopt many of their ideas about universal humanity and equality, and in his first State of the Union address, to pause after talking about the Civil War and all the challenges of the Civil War and say, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some domestic economics. And it is important that I say to you that labor is superior to capital. Well, that's an interesting concept. Labor is superior. The working person is superior to the capitalist. Labor is superior to capital. And that it must always have the greater preference as we talk about our policies as a country. We must make sure that those who work for a living are adequately compensated, cared for by a living wage. And what was Lincoln's, after the Civil War and his great battles and the Emancipation Proclamation, what was Lincoln's great contribution to America? Again, lost to history because we don't teach history enough. If there's a history teacher, I know you're doing a good job. But beyond you, the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act of 1862, what was it? Vote yourself a farm. The Vote Yourself a Farm movement, this radical movement related to Fanny Wright and all these people, they wrote the Homestead Act, which literally said, we are going to give immigrants and the urban poor free land. You can go have a farm. Because they wanted to have this adequate distribution of the wealth. Abraham Lincoln, 1862. Now, Lincoln